Hey guys, so today we have a favourites and fails. I was going to film this a little bit later on in the month. I mean, it's the 27th, so we're basically 4 days away from the end of the year, and I don't think I'm going to find anything in the next 4 days that's going to be either a huge fail or a huge fave. So we're just going to kind of go over stuff now so I can get this ready, and I'll probably be posting it today, to be fair, if I can get it all done. So I'm actually on a roll. I started getting ready at, I don't know, 7:30 today, and I just did my makeup and I just did everything, so I think I have a whole day of work ahead of me. So before we get into the video, as you guys know, I've mentioned that in I think 2 videos on my second channel and 2 videos on my main channel, there's been an issue with unsubscribing by YouTube and also not sending out notifications if you don't press the exact thing that they want you to press. So if you know that you were subscribed and you didn't intend on unsubscribing, then please scroll down and just make sure that you are still subscribed, and if you're not, then you could resubscribe if you want to, and make sure to turn on post notifications to all rather than personalized, and that gives you more of a chance to find out when I'm uploading a video. In the meantime, if you've never been subscribed before and this is your first time watching my channel, then also you can join the family by subscribing and turning on your post notifications. Now, of course, engagement and everything else is super important as well, so if at any point you want to leave a comment about anything, please don't hesitate. Social media, main channel description, and let's get into the video. I don't have a primer, I don't have anything new that I've tried for long enough to where I can put it into a fave or a fail. I did recently try the Dominique Cosmetics Jady Wady primer, and I think it's really good. I've tried it once, I can't really decide if it's a favorite yet. It's definitely not bad, but is it a favorite? I don't know. We'll have to wait. I have a sponge. This is the Colourpop Detail sponge. I did just use it, that's why it's wet and dirty, so ignore me. This is the Detail sponge. I got it in the full beat set, so I have the whole set, but this is the first one I've tried and I'm in love with it. It's the perfect shape. It's got this flat bottom here, so you can apply foundation or dot setting spray around. It's got this point here where you can really get in there. It's so soft. It's incredible. It feels amazing. I don't know how they did this, but they did it and it feels incredible. It blends everything out so just beautifully, nicely. I am in love with the sponge, and I just don't think at this point I will go back to buying a regular beauty blender when I have this for much, much less. I think this exact shape is out of stock, and the full beat is out of stock. So I'm not sure when this will be back in stock, but when it is, snatch it up because I think this one's good. I'm assuming the density and the structure of it is the same for every shape. It's just I really like this shape, and I think this will be my favorite one. Even after I try all the other ones, I think this one will be the one I go back to because it's just such a perfect shape. Wow, I'm in love with it. We're now entering proper cold weather in the UK, proper cold seasons, and when that happens, my skin enters this stage of it's super dry when I'm applying makeup, and then it gets super greasy later on in the day. But if I don't apply anything super dewy while applying my makeup, it will just look super cakey. I was wondering why around this time last year I was only exclusively wearing the glossy skin tint with the glossy stretch concealer, because I was I have other foundations that I really like. Why was I only wearing that from October to, I don't know, January, February? I was only exclusively wearing skin tint, stretch concealer, whether I was doing full glam or a natural makeup look. That was my combination, and it's because of the weather. It's the only thing that makes my skin look presentable when it is this dry. I do the skin tint, the stretch concealer, and then I do set the whole face, and then that kind of balances out the dryness with the dewiness. So yeah, I have the Glossy Perfecting Skin Tint in the shade G11, I think. Yeah, G11 and G11, I have them in the same shade, and I think this is my second one, and this is probably my second one as well, if not third. Actually, no, I think both of these are a second. I think I finished them roughly at the same time. So that's been my favorite. It's the only thing really keeping my skin at bay and just making it feel not completely dry. Of course, my favorite bronzer is still the Physicians Formula, but I've mentioned it already. You guys know this. It is part of my project pan, so of course it's my favorite. I've been using it a bunch. So that's not an official favorite, but just so you guys know, it's still a favorite. Colourpop recently restocked the Sailor Moon collection, which I didn't get around to buying when it did come out because that was a long time ago, and that was at the time where I still wasn't buying Colourpop because of customs and stuff like that. But now they restocked it, and I think the whole collection is so cute. The lips, the blush, and the eyeshadow are all the Sailor Moon collection, and it's all pretty much part of my favorite. These are the 2 blushes that came out. They have that 3D stuff. It's just so cute. So I have the shade From the Moon and Cat's Eye. So Cat's Eye is a shimmery corally pink, and then From the Moon is basically just a hot pink. And I'm wearing that one today. I've definitely dialed it down a bit, but you can see the tone is kind of similar, but I've definitely dialed it down. You can make it like this, or you can make it kind of like this. I think it just gives like a healthy flush to your face. I'm kind of trying to go in order of like how I do my makeup so that I don't get confused. I bought this Pat McGrath highlight that is part of the Christmas collection, and this is definitely one of my favorites. Not necessarily because the formula is something like I haven't seen this before. No, I think it's just the packaging and the whole presentation. This is so heavy. I wish I had gone and weighed it for you guys so you would know how heavy this packaging is. Like, it's full metal, right? If you're wondering like how do you open this thing, you spin it, you like an old school kind of like. And then here's the highlight. It's got like this beautiful pattern on it. When I opened this, I was like, oh, too dark for me. I mean, it feels super hard. Like, it's not losing the pattern. When I swatched it, it's dark, right? So like if I twist my hand, look at that, right? That's really dark. But if I just lightly graze it on my skin, it still gives a beautiful dew, but it doesn't have that darkness because I've just lightly dusted it. So I feel like this is actually something that is probably the closest we'll get to a universal highlight, because I feel like most companies are like, oh, universal, but like not really. This, realistically, it works on me when I lightly dust it, and I feel like someone of a much deeper skin tone than me could definitely pull this off. I mean, look at how deep it does get when you pile it on. So I feel like this is one of the closest highlights I've seen to actually being universal. I mean, it looks pretty white on my face, which is weird because this is definitely like rose gold. Like, if I tip it that way, you can see how deep it gets. It could work for like a variety of skin tones depending on how much you pile it on. I less cared about the formula and more about the like decoration aspect of this. I think I'll keep this around for like the rest of my life. Even if the like highlight expires and I can't use it anymore, I think just this like chilling on your vanity is just it's so weighted. It's so amazing. I don't, it's £50 though. So like, is this necessarily worth £50? I know, I mean, all my highlights look roughly the same on my cheeks, but I think it's the whole presentation that really got me this time. So like, I'm not saying buy this. I'm just saying like, I really enjoyed it. I just wanted to add that as much as I've mentioned this twice now in my favorites and fails, I think I'm going to mention it again because I haven't used any other highlight except for obviously when I bought this. I haven't used any other highlight more than once since buying this. So like, I've used this and then I would like try out a new highlight once and then I'd go back to this and then I'll buy a new highlight, try it once and then go back to this. I've been going back to this 99% of the time. It is the Colourpop Euro Trip Super Shock Shadow. I'm not saying buy this exact shade because of course this isn't for every skin tone. It's not universal like that Pat McGrath one is. Buy the shade that matches you, but I just think this formula is magical and just the way this shade works on my skin tone is incredible. I've already hit pan on it, like right there you can see the crate and you can see the crate kind of like showing up on different parts of the highlight. This is my favorite highlight of the year. I think if I had to do like a ranking for the year, this would definitely be my #1 highlight that I've been using. It's just amazing. I go back to this constantly. Like tomorrow, I'll probably not be wearing the Pat McGrath one. I'll be wearing this one. And that speaks volumes because this one is so inexpensive compared to the Pat McGrath one. I just feel like this just makes me always feel beautiful. Like, when there's that one piece of makeup that's like, wow, I feel gorgeous when I put this on. It's like my makeup could be going really bad. And then I put on the Super Shock highlight in Euro Trip and I'm like, wow, we've just upped this by like 5 points. Out of 10. We're gonna do some of my favorite palettes this month. It's been crazy because I tried so many eyeshadow palettes this month. It's been a very heavily like eyeshadow month. I think I bought 10 eyeshadow palettes, which is insane. Who let me do that? Realistically, like who let me do that? It definitely wasn't me, because if I knew I was buying that many, I would have stopped myself. But there are a few favorites, which I'm always very happy about. So my first favorite is the That's Taupe palette by Colourpop. It is their cool toned version of the Going Coconuts palette. That took me a while to figure out. So this is the Going Coconuts palette. This is the That's Taupe palette. And this one has created some beautiful looks. I felt so good wearing this eyeshadow. I'll try to find a picture of myself wearing this look. But I think it's just such a beautiful combination. It's a good variety as well. So it goes from the like lightest to quite deep. So you can either keep it up here or pull it down here. You've got 4 drastically different shimmers. And it's kind of what I like with Colourpop. Even in their 9-pan palettes, they never put more than one shimmer shade that looks the same or similar. I think you've got this one, which is a good inner corner brow bone highlight. And it's actually a Super Shock formula. And they have this one, and this one, which could definitely be lid shades, but they're all drastically different. So I think this is what I like about the 9-pan palettes. They're so different. There's no like repeat shades, which is nice. I used to wear cool tone shadows when I first started out in makeup because that's what I thought like you had to do when you had blue eyes. And then I realized you can just do whatever you want because makeup wipes off at the end of the day. So you can do whatever you want. But now going back to cool tones, I'm like, This is kind of a look. I think this is going to be my staple for when I'm not feeling like doing colourful shadow, not feeling like spending too much time on my look. We're just wanting something that looks quite glam, but in like a low effort way. And I think that's exactly what this is. And I'm really enjoying it. I think it just looks so beautiful. This shade right here blows my mind. Then we actually do have another Colourpop eyeshadow palette, and it is the Sailor Moon Colourpop palette, which I'm so happy to have now. It also has that where she opens her mouth and closes it. How cute is that? It's so adorable. And this just brings back memories. I had like a drinking cup like this, and I'll just keep on doing that to it. Anyway, so what I used today, this is what the look looks like. So I've got this like purpley, bluey, lilac-y on my eyelid, and then just pink everywhere else. It's kind of like very me. If you've been on my channel for a while, you know that this palette is just pure like Angelika vibes. If you want like the Angelika starter pack, then like this palette would probably be it for your makeup look. So it's got these stunning shades. This is a super shock, and then the rest are all metallics. Okay, I'm just gonna go through this look very quickly. I used this first in the crease, and it actually ends up being a lot more pinky, like a cool toned pink on your eyes than it shows in the pan. I think the pan makes it look more nudie. So I used this just kind of all over, just as like a transition shade. And then I used this one and this one in like the crease, and to deepen things up, you can kind of see that kind of in the look. And then I just used this all over the eyelid. I think it's such a stunning shade. And then I used this one, which I poked my nail into, on my inner corner and my brow bone, and that is kind of the look. And my last favorite eyeshadow palette, which I essentially dialed it down to 3 palettes because I thought that would be more like manageable, because if I just say, oh, everything's my favorite, then like, is anything really my favorite? Those are some questions that need to be asked. Now, my last favorite palette is the Dominique Cosmetics Latte palette. I think I'll be posting a Dominique Cosmetics video after this video. Don't know when, maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after, but it was supposed to go up today, but then I decided to do the faves and fails because it's a bit of a quicker video. So this is what it looks like. This is the Latte palette. It's the first one that she came out with. She has a Latte too, where these shades here are more pastel-y. But this is definitely like a beautiful autumn palette. I think this is an autumn-winter vibe. It's got a few more neutral shades. Like I think this one, and this one are more neutrally. And then you have this warmish one, these cool toned shimmers down here, and then you have these two, which are also very cool toned, but they're like more wintry colors. I don't know. It's such a stunning palette, honestly. This formula blends without any effort. You could literally swing your brush around 3 or 4 times and it's all blended beautifully, seamlessly. There is no like lines, gaps, patches, nothing. It blends itself out. I haven't tried a formula this good in a while. I spoke about this recently, where I think some of the best formulas for eyeshadows I've recently tried have been from YouTubers. I mean, I was about to put the Luna Beauty palette into this favorites video, but I think I'm gonna put it in maybe next month because I need to try them out a bit more. I've tried this one multiple times and I've tried these a few times. With the Luna Beauty, I bought 2 palettes and I've only tried them once each, so I want to try them a few more times before I put them into a favorites video, but they're also incredible. So that's like a bit of a spoiler for next month's favorites and fails. I like to give palettes a few more tries to kind of see if all the shades are good. I still haven't tried these 2 shades. I've tried all of these shades, so I know kind of how essentially like 80% of the palette works, and I think that's enough for me to make up my mind. I think this is a stunning palette with a stunning formula. It's just so good. To go with the eyeshadows, my new favorite single shadows are the 2 Colourpop Super Shock shadows that I got. One is called Ritz and one is in the shade Kush. And one dropped in one of my other videos this month. And mainly I like Ritz, which is a stunning shade. Like, it is a glittery, shimmery, taupey beautifulness. It's great, it's taupey, it's got like reflexes of like silvery blue. I don't, like, look at that. I think this on the eyes, I essentially just pile this on whenever I do any more cool toned looks. So whether I use the Latte palette or just the Taupe palette, the Going Coconuts palette, anything that kind of leans more neutral / cool toned, I like to add this on top of any of the shimmer shades, and it adds so much. Like, this single eyeshadow just saves every single look, really. And then this I think is also stunning, but it's not as glittery, it's more just shiny. I dropped this in a recent video and I had to like press it back in, so she's delicate, she's sensitive, she's been through a lot. This one's definitely like a typical Super Shock Shadow formula, whereas the other one is like slightly different. It's like a more, I'm sorry if you hear my window whistling, it does that thing when it starts to get really windy outside. This is more of that Super Shock formula where it's just pure shine, and this, they've made it different with like a more glittery formula, and I think these two are just such perfect Super Shock shadows. I think these were the exact shades I wanted in singles, and I think this warranted me buying the palette and the singles because I was scared they were going to overlap too much, but these are just so special. So this KVD mascara like lash primer is incredible. I'm wearing it today with the Pat McGrath Fetishize mascara, and this is what my lashes look like. They are exactly what I want for my lashes, where they're still long because my eyelashes are naturally quite long, but I don't want them to just be long. So they're long, they're separated, but they're not spidery because there's still volume there. And I like for my lashes to all be separated. I don't want them to be clumped together. I like separation, but I like volume, which is hard to come by. And I think this does it for me. So this creates that first layer of like separating, but adding a bit of a layer there. And then when you add the mascara on top, it doesn't clump up, but it doesn't get long and spidery. This is amazing. Like, it just looks so good. I am so in love with this. I'll never stop using this. This is amazing. It adds like an extra step. It literally takes 2 seconds and it changed my lash game. It's so good. Okay, then we have some lips. I picked one of each, so there are more shades, but I'm not going to show you guys all of the shades. So there's the Sailor Moon collection where they had 2 glosses, 2 blotted lips, and I picked the favorite out of each one. So this is my favorite from the glosses from the Sailor Moon collection. I'm wearing it on my lips right now. It's the Ultra Glossy Lip in... There's no shade because it doesn't really matter. It's the pink one. It's the pink one with gold flecks going through it. It's very stunning. It looks very nice, if I may say so myself. I've never tried the glossy lips before the That's Taupe collection, so talking about that one. The opaque one from the That's Taupe collection is, oh my god, I'm going to insert a picture of me using one of the lip liners from the That's Taupe collection with the lip gloss, this one. It's a look. It's something I've been looking for. I've been missing it in my lip collection, and now it's there, and I knew that it's never just going to leave my side now. I love that combination. And for the first time, I've tried the Ultra Blotted Lips from Colourpop, and I was trying to compare them to the Kylie Blotted Lips because I have 2 of the Kylie ones, and the verdict's in, this is exactly the same thing. Legally, might not be the same thing, don't sue me, Kylie. But like, on my lips and from my experience, I don't see enough of a difference to pay essentially like double the amount for the product. From now on, I'm just going to buy the Colourpop. So I haven't found any other brand that makes them exactly the way I want them, except for Kylie. And now Colourpop has them, so I'm just going to use Colourpop. This is the shade, it's like a raspberry pink. I love blotted lips because they have like the best of both worlds. They're not super dry, not super like crackly, but they also stay on for ages. My next and last fave is Dominique Cosmetics lipsticks. This is something I can easily decide to put into the faves and fails. I have the shades Freckles and Calaita. I've only used Freckles, which is the lighter of the 2. They're super creamy. They're supposed to be a demi matte, but they're definitely like a creamy lipstick. This is Freckles as a shade. It's so beautiful. Let me just roll that down before it cracks as well. This is the shade. Oh my god, it's such a beautiful nude. I think it's got similar vibes to me as this high gloss from the That's Taupe collection. And then I have Calaita, which is a more orangey nude. You can see how beautiful this formula is. It's like matte, but it's very comfortable, and so it's kind of like leaning more creamy in my eyes because it's so comfortable. Those are all of my favorites. And now let me get into my fails. And my fails are not necessarily fails this month. They're just things that have kind of disappointed me. I recently got sent in PR, which I'm always very grateful for, the Lottie London Lila Loves 2 eyeshadow palettes, and they're half fails, half not fails. Now let me explain why. So this is what the Sahara one looks like. It's got this purple metallic shade. It's got 3 more toned down metallics, and then 2 foiled shades, which you can probably guess what my eyes were very drawn to. Yes, it was these like foiled shades right here because I like shimmer and shine. And then in here you have 1 matte shade, 2 like subtle metallics, which you can't even tell are metallics. They're like that like subtle satiny almost shade, and then 3 foiled shades right there. Now, the matte in this palette is one of the best mattes I've tried in a long time, like along with like, you know, the Latte palette and Luna Beauty. It's such a good formula. Like this, blended out like no one's business. It feels buttery soft. It's like matte, but it's got a certain luminosity to it that just helps it blend out super well. It's such a good staple shade, except I don't reach for this because I'm not going to reach here for one shade. These metallics are quite nice. I really like the metallics, but the foiled shades are just, I don't know how to use this formula so that it actually works for me. It's one of those shades where you can't really use it on a brush because the brush doesn't pick it up at all because it's so like creamy and malleable. Like you can really press it in. So it's essentially cream, but it clumps up, as you can see. So I have it on my fingers right now and it kind of starts to clump up. Like, so if I try to put it down, it creates like a layer where it almost hardens. I don't have to explain, like it creates almost a hard pan on your eyes because the more you try to put it down, the more of a hard pan it creates. Like I can't transfer this whole thing off my finger. It's very difficult to put on your eyes. Obviously, like when you get it, like look how crazy that is. It goes a long way, right? But when you put it on your eyes and you open and close your eyes, it genuinely just like creates a layer of crust on your eyes that genuinely like doesn't let you move your eye around. So these foiled shades, I don't know if I just need to like learn how to use them, but I've tried them many different ways and I think they're just too wet almost, where they clump up, they create a hard pan situation on your eyes. It's very difficult to transfer them out of pan onto the eyelid. So you're trying to do it with a brush, right? And that doesn't work. And then you try and do it with your finger, but most of it stays on your finger. And also I don't like using my fingers now because obviously I have quite long nails. So it makes it kind of difficult to get in there. So I prefer to use a brush. So I think this formula just isn't my favorite. I'm trying to get it all off. So I enjoy the metallics and the one matte that is in there, but the foiled shades are just something that is kind of difficult for me to use. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if you guys have tried these palettes and have also kind of struggled with them, but I was very excited to try these out because those foiled shades looked incredible. And these color stories looked amazing, but they're just so difficult to use that it just kind of takes away from the fun of trying to figure out a look because you can't pick these up in any way, shape or form. And then it just makes it so difficult. It's also so difficult to remove off your eyelids. Like they literally just create a hard pan. And no matter what you do, you can't get them off. The last disappointment, it's not a disappointment because I still enjoy them, but it's a disappointment for the price that I paid for them and for what I was expecting from them. So I bought the 3 Pat McGrath palettes from this year's Christmas collection. Now I know last year she created a Blitz Astral quad, so it was just 4 shades of the Blitz Astral formula, which if you don't know what that is, it's Pat McGrath's special formula that's created in Italy and it's a very special shimmery shade. I knew that this year she didn't do a quad of the Blitz Astral formula, that she kind of put some mattes and some metallics in there, but I expected at least one Blitz Astral in each quad. Now I didn't get that. So I paid, it was either 45 or 60 per, I think this whole set was 135 and none of them are Blitz Astrals. I'm so upset. I'm just really upset because I like Blitz Astrals, okay? I think these palettes are still stunning. Like, do I regret buying them? No, I'm still going to use them, but I'm disappointed because I thought I was getting Blitz Astrals. I thought I was getting at least one. Like, I thought this shade here would be a Blitz Astral and it's not. So what we have here is a brown matte, a metallic pinky shade, a satin pinky shade, and then like the most shimmery metallic shade. It's beautiful. It's obviously a stunning shade, right? But at the same time, I was expecting a Blitz Astral. This was Risk Rosé. This is Interstellar Icon, which is the blue one. I think this is also stunning. However, this I can't use on its own, like this whole quad here, because I have no transition shade. I tried to put this directly on my eye and just blend it out and it got super patchy because it is a metallic shade, but usually you can use Pat McGrath's metallics in your crease. They kind of work really nicely, but these are just too dark for me, so I always have to go into a different palette and then come in here. I wanted this blue purpley shade to be a Blitz Astral and it's not. It's stunning though, like it is because it's Pat McGrath, but it's not Blitz Astral. This is what that blue looks like. It's very stunning, but I was expecting different formulas. I've mentioned this before. I find Pat McGrath's marketing and advertising of new releases very confusing because it's never upfront, like this is what this formula is and this is what you're paying for. You always have to do like a guessing game and try and like look up swatches to see if it's possibly what you think it is, and then it never is. They actually forgot to send me the highlight and this palette in the delivery. So they sent me the 2 palettes and the 2 lipsticks I ordered, and then this came literally the other day, so I still haven't tried it on my eyelids. However, this is where I spill the tea. Okay, so this is the last one, which is actually one of my favorite quads. I think it's so light that I can use it. It's got one matte shade, which is that pinky corally shade. I think this will be an amazing palette to just take on holiday when we start going back on holiday. It's got this gold metallic, it's got this like beautiful duochrome, and then it's got this one which could have been a bit astral but is not. This is what that looks like. It's beautiful. This shade here in the corner, which is one of the more special shades from all of the palette. Why did I put it there? Okay, you can see it turns from like bluey to like a lilac. I mean, am I disappointed? Yes, because I expected Blitz Astral. Now that I have these palettes, you know, I love that I have them. I like that they're part of my collection. I wouldn't send them back. I enjoy the formula. Then they're not duds. Like, there are no shades here that, you know, don't work. They all perform beautifully. They perform like Pat McGrath eyeshadows do. However, I wish there was a little bit more transparency when it comes to knowing what you're buying when it comes to Pat McGrath, and I think it kind of lacks that. I think if they have a Black Friday or Cyber Monday sale, I'm definitely going to buy maybe 1 or 2 more big mothership palettes, because those have 4 Blitz Astral shades and then the rest are normal. And then I also want the quads from last year because they're fully Blitz Astral, so that's kind of my plan for this year. So those are all my faves, and I guess you could say disappointments. They're not fails. I like everything that I pretty much showed you. I will probably use it in the future, and I love my Pat McGrath palettes, but these are definitely like faves, and I thought I was getting something else. That's what this will be today. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, comment down below anything you want to comment down below, and subscribe to post videos every time I think of something to do. So hit that bell, you'll be notified when that's happening. Social media links, main channel, affiliate links, any other links in description. I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.